Hi, I would like to thank everyone for tuning in today. I am DrWTruth, host of your one and only Fear Truth podcast. I would like to thank our sponsor, FathersTruth.com, number one home for fathers, athletes, and military women to get help with all family court matters. This ranges from child support issues, divorce, custody, visitation, even advisement with mediation. Again, that's FathersTruth.com. FathersTruth.com. The topic we're going to cover today is called warning signs. This is for men and women. A lot of times we meet people and we miss warning signs, maybe because of how they look, what our ulterior motive is, what our goal is. However, this episode, once again, is for men and women. Whatever floats your boat, whichever way you go, there's warning signs that everybody needs to be aware of. We're going to start with a couple of questions that I've heard from clients recently. The first one: have you ever asked yourself, why is the same person appearing in a different body? Second, why does most of my relationships end in the same way? And last but not least, have you ever told a spouse, I'm the best thing that ever happened to you, and you gonna leave me? Those are questions that I believe most people have heard or even asked themselves. It appears that there are so many people who are ego-driven and never heard of a concept called the relationship mirror by Krishnamurti. I recently met this woman, fresh out of a 5-year relationship. According to her, her ex had cheated and he wasn't a real man. This woman was drop dead gorgeous with a beautiful smile and an amazing body. But after we talked for a few minutes, it became obvious to me that the man I am today would never take her serious in a relationship, concept. And nor would I even want to be around her on a friendship level. I know those last statements appear that I'm bashing this woman to simple and below average thinkers. During our very first conversation, there were so many red flags. For example, the first statement she made was, I'm a good woman and I just wasted 5 years of my life. Then she went on to say, you're gonna have to prove to me that we are equally yoked, followed by, I really don't need you, your money, or any man. My kids love me. Men are all sex-hungry dogs. Can you prove you're different? Last but not least, I'll never be that open to anyone again or let anyone take advantage of me or like that ever again. Now, as bad as those statements were, and as bad as she made herself look, I could be nothing but thankful that she showed me who she was from the first conversation. Now, when we initially met at the gas station, she was totally different. However, you give people the room to be themselves, and everything you need to know will show. Whether you heard any of those statements from a man or a woman, depending on what you're into and how you move, run. There's no maybe if I put in the work she'll see I'm different, or he'll see I'm different, whatever. No. This will be like going through a damn landmine, and depending on what stage of development you are in your personal life, the time and energy that this will take is just not worth it, especially if you are a productive member of society. I honestly believe words have power. So, and the fact that life and death is all in the tongue. Not to mention, you are who you hang around. Now, of course, there are always exceptions to the rule, but 95% of the time, you are exactly who you hanging around, whether it's a large part of your life or a small aspect. So after I allowed her to get all that venom out and hurl all those insults basically at a man that she did not know, I asked her, did that make you feel better? And do you have any blame yourself on the 5-year relationship? She stated to me she was just letting me know what it was coming through the door, and no, she had no responsibility for anything that happened in the relationship because she trusted and loved that man who she found out was not a real man. So after that, I then came up with a reason to get off the phone. I think I said I had to charge my phone, and haven't talked to her since. Now, ladies and gentlemen that's listening, this does not mean that this woman will stay in this stage for her entire life. However, stated before, anybody who is productive and actually doing something in society to change and impact the world, she's going to take too much energy for you to focus on her or go through all of the landmines to prove something to her. Anytime you know for a fact that the person does not fit into your lifestyle or your development, do you and them a favor. Don't waste a damn time. If you are in a relationship for 6 months or more, even though that is not enough time to know a person 100%, ladies, if you trust your intuition, and men, if we trust our instincts, that will tell us all that we need to know. Not to mention, nothing is ever one-sided. So with a woman who felt like her time was wasted, she also should blame herself for allowing her time to be wasted. But I honestly believe relationships do not waste our time because they reflect what we see in our spouse back to us. So whatever our triggers are, or however it resonates to you, whatever pisses you the fuck off, that's what you need to work on. For the women who say actions speak louder than words, I can understand why you would say that, but actually a man's intentions does, just like a woman's intentions does with a man, or whatever you're into. However, being in tune with your intuition or your instincts, not your desires, will catch all the bullshit most of the time. Many times we see the warning signs, we know when stuff doesn't add up, we can see the lies, we can see the bullshit game being ran against us. However, if our spouse is our greatest chance at achieving at whatever goal we want, we will ignore most of the signs that we see. For the ladies that say a man must stimulate their mind before anything sexual happens, most of them that say that is completely full of shit. In most cases, they just need you to speak well. However, they completely ignore articulation does not equal intelligence. You can speak well and not live or understand anything that you say. So what does that mean? Most women who say that just need a man to articulate the ideas in their head long enough for them draws to fall. For men, the best example I can give is a client of mine who was a professional hockey player. He hired an intern for a new business he started. She learned his family, his religion, and what his goals were. In about 2 months, somehow they started sleeping together. He went in, didn't use a rubber. Of course, she became pregnant. After she had his baby, she used his religious beliefs to marry him. and now half his salary and a business income along with child support goes to her. Because he didn't listen to his instincts, he fell victim to the game. The game is 100% undefeated. If he would have listened to his instincts, it would have been obvious that in a total of 2 months, it has to be a game plan for this intern and this woman to know everything that I hold true and dear to my heart. And something is not right that it is moving this fast. Now for the men and women who hang around people that say all the good men are gone, they either married a gay, or all the good women are gone, they just want me for my money. As I said earlier, words have power. So you can say something verbally that you unknowingly attract. Not to mention, what have you done internally to better yourself, your thought process, and to make sure you are able to recognize these people when you see them, no matter how attracted you are to them, and what goal you think they can help you reach. Years ago, I was working with some women from the battered women's shelter, and me and a couple of other guys were teaching close quarter combat. It amazed me of the amount of women from that shelter, churches, corporate settings, who stated they didn't like a nice guy because they felt like they could take over the nice guy or overrun him. And I didn't understand how they didn't see that. Yes, it is wrong to attack a woman, you know, all that stuff there. However, I believe everybody has the right to defend themselves. That's just me. However, if the women who said they did not like nice guys or couldn't be with a nice guy, many of them didn't feel loved until they got hit, and then were surprised that they wound up with an abuser. Fellas, if you meet a woman who thinks you are weak because you don't want to argue or physically fight, and if you feel the situation is getting a little too heated, if she thinks you are weak and doesn't respect that about you, get the fuck away from her. If your mother or sister is the same way, get away from them also. When I was doing a program for the prisons, it amazed me of how many men were in there for things just like that. And the woman that they were defending went back to the guy or still with the guy. Please play this podcast for everybody in your family, including your children, because what I'm saying may not help you directly or even impact your life, but it may change the course of your children's lives, somebody you're close to. I think there's a quote that goes, a smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Going back for a second to the woman who was fresh out of the 5-year relationship, who made the statement, I really don't need you, your money, or any man. My kids love me. Ladies, stop using your children as if they are your man or your spouse, whatever you're into. This is also a red flag. Maybe if you love the man you had your children with the same way that you love your kids now, maybe the relationship would have lasted a little bit longer. Fellas, if you're dating a woman who has multiple kids by different guys, especially if she wasn't married to any of them, this may be something you need to take note of. This may not be the best situation for you to jump into or the best woman to procreate with to build your legacy. And ladies, if you meet a man and same thing, he has kids by multiple women, wasn't married to any of them, maybe this is not a guy you should procreate with either. As adults, we can't do what we want, ignore all of the warning signs, and have some type of bullshit hope that you are going to be the person that turns that person's life around. If you are entertaining someone whose level of personal development is very minimum, and you are addicted to them in some way, or you just love their energy, then you guys are on equal playing field. I want to thank everyone again for tuning in. I have a booking with a client. Again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you to our sponsors, Father's Truth. This is the end of the episode. Stay safe and healthy, and make wise decisions when picking spouses.